speedometer not working, the check engine light on.
There's always something wrong with this car. Ugh.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Honda Resource. Today we have a Honda Accord in here and we're going to be repairing the vehicle speed sensor. It's a pretty common issue for most of the 90s and early 2000s Hondas or Acuras to have the same similar style vehicle speed sensor, which is located on the top of the transmission. I'm going to show you how you can repair your vehicle speed sensor and get your speedometer working again. Stay tuned, let's get to the video. All right, so what we're going to do is we need to locate the speed sensor, and it's back here on the back of the transmission. So there it is right there. That's our speed sensor right here at the back of the engine. So like I said, it's on top of the transmission, but it's at the back. Kind of tucked down in here, and it's got a little plug like this. Maybe you can see that. So this little plug here, and you can see how this one terminal here on the end is looking pretty nasty. It's usually the one in the middle that goes bad too. So now we need to pop this little white piece off. All right, so to get this piece off here, I usually just use a little gasket pick such as this, and you can just get it under one of the edges and it usually pops right off. Of course, it don't want to act right now, and I'm sitting here trying to show you how to do it. There we go. So now we've got that off. You can see here also where it's deteriorated the plastic some. Most likely that's going to be our issue, is this pin over here on the end. But a lot of times you can take and use your pick to get these off. So we got a black, yellow, orange. I think what I'm going to do now is just try to find another connector. All right, so I went over here to my bin of connectors and whatnot, and I found another connector. It's the same style connector. The wire colors don't exactly match, but that doesn't really matter. So here you can see our other one, we had a black, a orange, and a yellow. So what I'm going to do now is just depin the other two that were still good. That way we can depin the two good ones out of the other one. All right, so to depin these, you'll take your little gasket pick, make sure the white piece is out, right? And then you'll get up under the pin, and push the whole pin up. See that? See, I'm pushing the whole pin up. And then while I'm doing that, I'll pull the wire. You can see it comes right out. So what I'm gonna do is leave the one, I'm gonna leave one pin in to replace the other one that was messed up. All right, so you can get these at the junkyard. You go to the junkyard, you can scoop one of these off of another speed sensor. Just take your cuff pliers and just hack the wires off. That way you have all the pins. All right, so now what I'm going to do is take this connector down here and take these other wires out of it. Okay, got those two out, and the other one's not going to come out, so we'll just have to cut the connector. So most of the times they're not melted into the connector, such as this one, and you can still remove the pin from the connector. You can see where that one's melted in there. You see how it's melted? So likely what it's done is made a bad connection and then sat in there and arced around. So a lot of times what happens is you see it bends over right here. So it basically bends over and goes back up into the connector. So if it doesn't, a lot of times they corrode off right here where it bends over. So it doesn't have the piece that slides back up in there. And that's the piece that makes contact with your pin on your speed sensor. So a lot of times you just have to replace this one end, so you can just get a piece of wire off of one of the connectors, replace a piece of wire, and you're good to go. But like I said, since this one is melted on here, we can't, well, this is the good one. No, this is the bad one. All right, so you can see how that one's melted. We can't reuse this connector. All right, so now what I'm going to do is just take a straight edge razor and cut back some of the plastic that's around the wires, just so I can get to this other one and solder another connector on it. So I just made a slit in that so I can pull these wires out some. Hopefully you can see that. You can see here, I took the wire, I split the little piece that covers them a little bit, just where I could get to this black wire a little bit better. And I can solder on another connector. And so I got a little twist on those wires. Now I'm just going to do a little dab of solder. All right, so I got a little bit of solder on there. Slide my heat shrink back over it. And get my lighter and shrink the little heat shrink on here. Just put a little heat shrink on there. And then we can plug our other wires in. All right, so let's just put those back together now. So the other wires will plug back in. And if you remember, it was black, yellow, then orange. So yellow, and then orange. All right, and we'll put our little piece back in, if it'll go back in. All right, so now we got our little white piece clip back in, and I'm just gonna inspect the speed sensor to make sure it looks good, and it does. So we can plug that back in. All right, so that's plugged back up now. Now we can put our intake tube back on. All right, so now we got the pin replaced. We just go ahead and reassemble our engine bay. Yours may look like this, yours may not. I'm not sure which Honda or Acura you're repairing, but for this instance, all we have to replace is our intake tube. All right, so now we've got everything reassembled out here. Let's go take it for a test drive and see if it fixed it. So there you have it. That concludes this project. Now you can fix your vehicle speed sensor right at home and in your garage. If this video was helpful to you, please leave a like below. And as always, you can leave a comment and let me know what you liked about it. If it helped you, tell me it helped you. Also, feel free to subscribe. I'm always posting DIY Honda repair tricks, tips, and repairs. Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you on the next one. Peace.